Hey there, it's David. You've set sail from the last island. I will be real with myself, with God, and with others. I will surrender my secrets and take off my masks. You're now on your way to the next island. I will devote myself to learning and growing in my personal relationship with God. I will surrender to every change God wants to make in my life. Did you notice that surrendering is an essential part of this whole journey to be process? It sounds funny, but you'll truly find yourself only when you totally surrender yourself. For an unsurrendered self is merely a life where you're playing God. And none of us are even remotely qualified to play God. It's only through surrendering, letting go, and letting God that you'll ever discover who you are. So, when you're yacht dogs, you'll disembark on this new island. As you've done on the previous islands, you'll take the time to build a hut and hang a hammock between two palm trees. You'll then cut a path to the top of the hill so that you can watch the sunrise and the sunset. In other words, you'll make your home on this island for as long as it takes. But on this island, and any island for that matter, don't get caught up in getting done. Simply focus on being. Allow God to meet you right here, right now, in the work of this island. And work it will be. That is, if you take it seriously. And my hope is that you're taking all of this seriously. All right, standard disclaimer time. If this is your first time listening to Island Hopping, I encourage you to go back to Season 1, Episode 1, The Rules. It's so much better to start this journey from the beginning. This information isn't time sensitive, it's timeless. So I'll meet you right here when you get back. As we begin, I want to plant a thought seed into your brain. It's very true that inquiring minds want to know. So let's get to it. Let's get to knowing. Let's go island hopping. As you start this leg of your journey, I want to point out a universal truth, a truth for all people in all times, a truth with which we all struggle, a truth with which every human being who has ever lived or will ever live struggles. Humans hate vacuums. Not the machines that you use to clean your floors, although you might not like those vacuums either. Oh, this is ridiculous. Stop it! What I'm talking about when I refer to vacuums is that still, quiet space where nothing seems to exist. A void, a pause in the conversation, a quiet place where you're left alone with just you and your thoughts. A vacuum is that place where something was, but now there seems to be nothing. Seems to be are the magic words on this island, because the kind of vacuum I'm talking about, the kind of vacuum that the world has taught you to hate, is merely a mirage. A figment of your imagination, a product of our culture that preaches activity, progress, and conquest. After all, moss doesn't grow on a rolling stone. Our culture teaches us that the appearance of the lack of something is truly nothing. But the truth is actually this. In those times when you feel as if, or you think as if, nothing is happening, that nothing is going on, there's truly something happening, something going on. The lack of your perception of something doesn't mean that there's nothing. You just don't know what that something happens to be just yet. And it's this lack of knowing that causes your existential frustration. This lack of knowing is precisely why the world has taught you to hate vacuums. For you can't stand not knowing. After all, you're created in the image of God. Thus, wanting to know is a part of your DNA. It's true that inquiring minds want to know. So, what are some examples of these vacuums that I'm talking about? It's the pause that happens after 7 minutes of a conversation. It's that missing piece of information that's needed to make sense of a situation. It's the vastness of space. It's the question that can only be answered with, "I don't know." And it's also that huge area of your life that seems to be left empty when you surrender your secrets and take off your masks. Living with a vacuum in your life, living in the "I don't know," is the stuff of faith. For faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Whenever you perceive a vacuum in your life, your first and most pressing desire is to fill it as quickly as possible. Thus, if you're missing information about something or someone, you'll formulate a hypothesis. When you don't understand something or someone, you'll assume. And I hope you know why you and me are encouraged to never assume. Why do you think that gossip is so popular with us humans? Because we hate vacuums. So we sit around formulating reasons to explain why everyone is up to everything. In our desire to eliminate vacuums, we will fill in any and all understanding gaps with anything. For the world has taught us that anything is way better than nothing. When you acknowledge that you have a space in your life that was formerly filled with something, but now that something is gone, you'll strive to fill that vacuum as soon as you can, as opposed to simply allowing that vacuum to simply be a vacuum. For the world has taught you that something is way better than nothing. So when you have a gap in your understanding or a void in your life, a vacuum, where there used to be specific behaviors like secrets and masks, the world encourages you to fill the void quickly. But here's the truth. That nothing that you seem to have in your life is actually something. It's nothing. And nothing needs to be paid attention to. Nothing needs to be realized. I call this nothing that you have in your life living in the I don't know. And I don't know is actually something, which is the opposite of an absence of something. You just don't know what the something happens to be just yet. Because of this fact, the surrendering of your secrets and the taking off of your mask that you successfully accomplished on the last island is very dangerous. It's very dangerous because you've now created what appears to you to be a vacuum. For keeping your secrets and wearing your mask took a great deal of time and effort to maintain. Now that you no longer have to keep your secrets and wear your masks, you have extra time and extra effort that isn't being utilized. Thus, the appearance of a vacuum, nothing where there used to be something. And again, we all hate vacuums. Thus, you naturally want to fill that perceived empty space ASAP. You want to repurpose the time and the effort that you used to allocate to your secrets and masks as quickly as you can. For the world has taught you that you can't just have nothing in your life where there used to be something. Unless, of course, you remember that nothing is actually something. You have a primal need to fill your perceived empty space, your vacuum. That space that used to hold your secrets and your masks as soon as you can. And what you fill it with, if you aren't careful, could be worse than the secrets you surrendered or the masks that you used to wear. The easiest way to fill any perceived vacuum in your life is to return to old patterns. This is why so many people fail at long-term transformation in their lives. And this is why so many people fall off the wagon. Because when the going gets tough, and the going will always get tough, when the vacuum seems too overwhelming, it's so easy to fall right back into old habits and old patterns, like keeping your old secrets and wearing your old masks. For from the world's perspective, at least doing what you used to do is way better than doing nothing. This is one of the reasons why the last island invited you to be real with yourself, with God, and with others. For now you have 3 layers of realness that you must go through if you desire to fall back into old patterns. Yourself, God, and the others in your life will keep you from backsliding into old habits and patterns of secret keeping and mask wearing. For let's be real, keeping secrets and wearing masks takes a great deal of time and effort. You have to mold your life around keeping your secrets. Not only do you have to remember your secrets, you have to make sure that everything else in your life lines up with your secrets. For you can't risk allowing your secrets to see the light of day. And you also must constantly work to make sure you're wearing the right mask at the right time. But once you surrender your secrets and take off your masks, you're left with a whole bunch of time and a great deal of effort that needs to be reshaped and redirected, aka transformed. In other words, you perceive that you're left with a vacuum, the appearance of nothing where there used to be something. But, and I will say it over and over and over and over again, the presence of nothing is actually something. Having said all of that, understanding that this is how the majority of us respond to these types of situations, it's very important that you fill this perceived vacuum with the right stuff. Or you'll simply discard a secret or a mask just to pick them right back up again, or worse yet, you'll pick up some new secrets that you need to keep and some new masks that you'll need to wear. This is precisely what this island is all about. This island is about an invitation to fill the perceived vacuum in your life that was created by successfully surrendering your secrets and taking off your masks, filling it with the right stuff, which requires you, first and foremost, to be comfortable living in the nothing, which is actually something. Into this perceived vacuum in your life that's been created by surrendering your secrets and discarding your masks, this island encourages you to insert a deeper, intimate relationship with God. A relationship in which you're constantly learning and growing. A relationship of devotion. Devotion to God and what God wants to do in you and through you. Into this perceived vacuum in your life, this island will encourage you to insert Bible study, prayer, worship, and service. For your perceived vacuum, caused by your surrendered secrets and discarded masks, is the tangible God-shaped hole that we talked about on an earlier island. And nothing fits better into a God-shaped hole than God. Nothing fills any vacuum, perceived or not, better than God. Notice also on this island the word devote is used. I will devote myself to learning and growing in my personal relationship with God. I will surrender to every change God wants to make in my life. According to dictionary.com, devote means to give up or appropriate to or concentrate on a particular pursuit, occupation, purpose, cause, etc. To be devoted to something means that you make it a priority in your life. You give up other things in order to devote yourself to something. You find something suitable or fitting, so you devote yourself to it. Being devoted means that you concentrate on something particular. Thus, into your perceived vacuum created by the surrendering of your secrets and the discarding of your masks, you're invited to give up, appropriate to, and concentrate on a life of learning and growing in your relationship with God. The good news is that you don't need to be taught how to be devoted to something. Nobody needs to be taught how to be devoted. We all come out of the womb knowing how to be devoted to something. The bad news is that you need to learn how to be devoted to the right stuff. To be devoted to the right stuff that will build you up, not tear you down. The right stuff that will help you be who God has created you and gifted you to be. Up until now, your secrets and your masks have been your priority. Keeping your secrets and wearing your masks have been the objects of your devotion. For keeping secrets and wearing masks requires your total devotion. So, on this island, I'm inviting you to keep your devotion, for you're already a devoted person. I'm simply inviting you to replace the focus of your devotion. Whereas the focus of your devotion was keeping your secrets and wearing your masks, the new focus of your devotion will be making your relationship with God the priority in your life. If you ever want to know what someone is devoted to, simply follow them around and see how they spend their time. Make a learning and growing relationship with God your devotion. Use all of that time and energy that used to be devoted to keeping your secrets and wearing your mask and transfer it. Transfer it all to learning and growing in your relationship with God. Make time to read the Bible. Make time to pray. Make time to worship. Make time to serve. This is devotion because in the act of making time, you'll make learning and growing in your relationship with God a priority. You'll fill the perceived vacuum in your life caused by surrendering your secrets and taking off your masks. So, over the next several episodes, we're going to explore what this newfound devotion to learning and growing in your relationship with God is going to look like. We're going to explore the topics of Bible reading, prayer, worship, and service. Along the way, you're going to be invited to design your own intimate, personal relationship with God. The good news is that whatever you create will not be the end of it all. This is an ongoing process that will follow you the rest of your life. For as you learn and grow, your needs, your interests, and your desires will change. Thus, your relationship with the Bible, prayer, worship, and service will also change. This is going to be fun.
Hey there, it's Madison. Island Hopping is a production of Journey to Be Ministries and is sponsored by Beneva Christian Church in Sarasota, Florida. You can find Beneva Christian on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the Beneva Christian app, as well as their website, benevachristian.com. If you'd like to contact my dad, just drop him an email at islandhoppingpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can text him by clicking on the link in the show notes.